So, merry meet everyone, and welcome to tonight's kind of impromptu live. So, I am going live here tonight on the full moon in order to do a rain spell for Southern California and hopefully get some moisture in this area. It's very, very dry. Some of the fires have been contained pretty well, others are still going, and the other issue is that we do continue to have some winds, higher winds in some of the areas, which is scary because it means that fires could continue to break out. So I felt that this kind of came up in our Shadow Seekers membership last night. It was kind of a last minute kind of topic we were talking about it, and I decided, well, full moon, let's go live today, and I'm so happy that some of you can join me here and lend your energy and help with the spell. So I see Kurt is in the chat. Hi, Kurt. Nice to see you. And I'm not seeing the rest of the chat, but hopefully, hopefully this broadcast is going. Okay, here I see a few other people. So I see Elizabeth is here, and Cindy, Mary Meet, and Tiffany's here. So welcome everybody. If somebody could just put in the chat if you can hear the microphone, I think everything's okay. But when there are higher winds, sometimes I worry about whether people can hear and the broadcast is going through. So anyway, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. This isn't a full ritual. This is just a spell and a working. And I'm going to tell you kind of my ideas about what we're going to do tonight. And you can join me and do it with me right now. You can just be here in the presence and lend your energy. And if you guys are watching back later, feel free to continue to do the spell. You can do it on your own, or you can also just sit and watch and lend us some energy. So, as I mentioned, there's a great need for rain right now, and there is a lot of disinformation out there that I see being spread about why the fires are going and what's causing them. Like a student of mine who goes to school in Florida at a college there got in an argument with someone who's trying to tell her that it was our lesbian fire chief that caused the fires, or it's ineptitude, things like that. Like, the reality is that we're in a severe drought. We normally get rain in November and December, and we didn't get that rain. We just got a little sprinkling at some point, and we didn't get enough. And then we had these very high winds, and it just creates a natural disaster. So this isn't ineptitude. This isn't immorality. I've actually seen very vicious posts being spread about the immorality of California and how we deserve it here. And I think it's not in the spirit of what we need right now. We need hope, and we need help, and we need good energy. We don't need vitriol and lies. And so if you hear people spreading that kind of disinformation, I just ask you to do your part and try to correct it, like my student did today at her school. So, um, so let's talk about this spell. So today is the full moon. It's the full moon in Cancer. And Cancer is a sign connected to the moon. So there's like kind of a double dose of lunar energy. And it's a Monday, so we've got that that energy going as well. The sign of Cancer is connected to water. So this is a perfect time for us to be doing this too. So we're really going to be focusing on the element of water. We are going to be calling in the god Indra in his form Parjanya, who is the god of rain. And the name Parjanya actually literally translates to rain cloud. So I'll tell you a little bit about the chant we're going to do and the working we're going to do. But before we begin, if you would like to participate in this spell, what you need to do is you need to grab yourself a bowl of water, and you can have any parts of this too. So like, this is sort of impromptu. I'm just grabbing things that I have here. This isn't meant to like have people go out and get things. A bowl of water, everybody can probably get that. If you have a candle, you can go ahead and light a candle. I'm going to light a blue candle for the element of water, since that's what we're trying to draw in. But if you have a white candle, that's great too. If you don't have any candles, that's totally fine. Bowl of water is great for us. If you do have the candle and you want to carve the symbol of water into it, which is what I'm going to do, I would get a pin or a needle or something, or a knife that you can carve into that. Or if your candle is actually in a holder, you can get a Sharpie or something that you can write on the outside, and that we can add that energy as well. And then we're going to be sprinkling this water. We're going to be kind of dispersing some of it around. And so if you have something that you want to kind of fling it with, like a feather or a twig or something like that, I don't have those things, so I'm just going to use my fingers. Like I said, very impromptu. It's a short working. We're not going to be here a long time, but it's going to be a very powerful one, I think. So, okay. So let me just checking the chat. I see a few other people are here. Okay, people are saying they can hear me. So hi, I see Pamela's also here, and Colleen and Nancy. Hi everybody, great to see you. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the god Indra, and then we're going to do this chant. We're going to call in the energy of rain with this chant, and then we're going to add on this little fire spell as well. So Indra, as I mentioned, he is he's a god of the sky, and he's from the Hindu pantheon, and he is considered a bringer of rain and of thunder. And so he is also considered the one who fertilizes the earth. So his rain, he himself is married to an earth goddess. Or connected to an earth goddess, and when he rains down upon the land, he fertilizes the land. The word Parjanya, as I mentioned, actually translates to rain cloud, and he is considered the enemy of flesh-eating fire. So he is a perfect god to call in, a perfect energy to call in when we are combating fire the way that we are right now. So we are going to use a chant that I came across, and this is a chant that comes from the Yajur Veda. And the words to it, I'm going to put them in the chat here for those who are live, and anybody who's watching back in replay. This will just be under the video, and so you are welcome to join me in the chant. But what you can also do is just listen to it, because it is in Sanskrit, and sometimes it can be hard to kind of on the fly learn the pronunciation of words in a different language. Let me just make sure I spelled it correctly before I put it in the chat. Okay, looks good. Okay, and I'll explain what the pronunciation is and everything. But this particular part of the Yajur Veda, this part translates to the clouds have to form, the clouds have to form. It has to rain, it has to rain. So I thought that it's more powerful to me that we sing it in the Sanskrit, but that is the meaning, just so you know. The clouds have to form, the clouds have to form. It has to rain, it has to rain. Now, they say that when this chant is chanted with great conviction, it can bring rain to a particular area. So we're just going to ask that people focus on California, particularly Southern California, which is where we're having most of the problems right now. So we kind of focus our energy in this one area, and so I found this chant online. And what I decided to do is I actually decided to set it to my own language, or my own music, my own tune. And that way we don't have to worry about any copyright or anything. And I think it also adds extra energy that it's created. It was created here. This tune was created for this very purpose. But the one thing I did want to share with you about where I found this chant is that in the comments, I was kind of looking down, and there was comments of people who said that they had used the chant. And this one woman said, I have chanted this twice. She said it was a historic drought, wildfires raging, and then she said both times rain. Much gratitude to Lord Parjanya. So to me, that was very powerful. We have proof that the chant has worked in places. If anything, we need some humidity, we need some moisture, but it would be really great to have some rain here too, right? Some unexpected rain. So what I suggest too, as we go through the chant, we're just going to kind of sing it for a little bit. Like I said, I'll sing it. You can listen, you can hum it. If you want to sing it with me, that's great. If you just want to let the words wash over you, that's great too. And feel free too to move while you're doing it, because as we call in kind of this energy of water, water is an energy that flows. And so we can bring in, we can evoke more of that element when we ourselves find flowing movement. So if you know Sufi grind, you can feel free to kind of make circles with your hips if you want to move and do some intuitive movement. If you want to dance, um, if you think of the stories of like rain dances, right? There's a reality to why they're done. It's because movement draws in the element of water. It's a flowing element. Okay, so how we pronounce this chant is Nika May, Na Parjanya Varsha Tu. Nika May, Na Parjanya Varsha Tu. Okay, so I'm going to kind of sing it a little bit, and again, just join me if you'd like, and then once we're done with that, we're going to do the little spell. Okay. Nika. Okay, all right, let me see. I knew this was going to happen because I've got in my mind, I also have the one that I was listening to where I have the other tune in my mind. So let's just make sure I've got this. I start this correctly. Okay, just give me 1 second. Well, I listened to my own recording of it last night. Okay, there we go. Nika May, Na Parjanya Varsha Tu. 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 Do it one more time. Nika May, Na Parjanya Varsha Tu. 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 Blessings to Lord Parjanya. Rain down on Southern California. Okay, so we're going to perform this spell, and then you can continue. If you are burning the candle, you can just keep it burning, and let's go through what we're going to do here. So we are going to call in the element of water. If you are using a candle, and you would like to carve the symbol for water into your candle, the symbol is an upside down triangle, so very, very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and carve that into my candle here. And again, just with a spell like this, we have options. And if you don't have a candle, that's okay. You just got the bowl of water, that's fine. If you don't have something to carve into the candle, that's fine. Everybody's doing their part. Just by being here and lending energy, everyone is doing their part. Okay, so we are now going to just infuse this candle with our energy, with our call for rain, and we're going to send energies of the water element into this candle. Okay, so go ahead, and if you have the candle, you can go ahead and hold the candle in your hands. And if you don't have the candle, that's okay. You can just close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and sigh something out, just to kind of reset yourself. Take another deep breath in and go ahead and exhale that out. Okay, so think about the element of water and bring it into your senses. So whether that is through your visual sense, whether that's through your auditory sense, maybe you can smell the ocean or something like that. Just see if you can conjure up some kind of a sensory imprint of water. And if you know Southern California at all, maybe you can visualize parts of it that you've been to. If you've been to Los Angeles, maybe seeing parts of Los Angeles, like Santa Monica, or parts that you know. It doesn't matter where it is. Just try to visualize California. And if you've never been to California, you don't know what it looks like, just see if you can visualize some palm trees and some sun. And then seeing clouds start to form, maybe just a little bit. The sky that is so blue here, just seeing some wisps of white start to drift in. And then noticing that cloud layer seems to be getting heavier and thicker. And maybe the sky's even getting darker, and it's becoming obvious that Lord Parjanya, Lord Indra, is near, that the water element is near. And maybe you can even feel it, that feeling that you feel before it rains. You can feel the humidity hanging heavy in the air, and maybe you can even feel that on your skin. Maybe you can smell it. Whatever it is that helps you, that your senses pick up when it's about to rain. Just bring that energy into your space. And then the first drop falls. And then another drop falls. And maybe you see the dry land here, so in desperate need of water. And the drops start to fall a little faster now. Drop after drop, and now it truly does start to rain. A sprinkle at first, and then heavier and heavier, the sky pregnant with water, just raining down on California, in particular Southern California. And maybe you even see it raining down on the fires that are still going here, blessing us with much needed rain, infusing us with the blessings of water. And we're just pouring all of that into this candle, our hopes and our prayers and our energy for the people here who are suffering, for those who've had to evacuate, for those who have lost their homes, their lives, people who had to leave behind memories and flee, And just see that water raining down and healing the land. And just infuse all of that into this candle and see it raining heavier and heavier. But no lightning, just beautiful, beautiful rain pouring down on the land. So just hold that in your mind's eye, that feeling, whatever that sensory experience is, just hold that in your mind's eye for a little bit longer. Just see the rain pouring down. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if you are working with the candle with me, you can go ahead and light the candle now. And then sometimes people ask about like using the candle when we have fires going. But remember, it's like an intention. We're setting a prayer. We're also asking the element of fire to calm down, to be calmer. We need the water element to be replacing the fire element now. And the elements all know that they need to be in balance eventually. And so there's nothing wrong with lighting a candle like this in this case. So if you have a candle, like mine's going to go for a while. I'm probably just going to observe this, keep it safe, and I'm probably just going to let it burn all the way down. But you can feel free to put it out at any time that you need to, and then you can relight it until it's burned down completely if you'd like. Now, what we're going to do here for our final little step before we go is we are going to take the bowl of water. If you don't have the water, you can even just imagine yourself doing this. And you can take, if you have a twig or if you have a feather or something that you want to fling the water with, you can. But otherwise, you can just fling the water, take a bit in your fingers and fling it. And as we do so, we are actually going to kind of say this little incantation. Now, this is in English. It actually comes from, I believe this comes from the Rig Veda, though it may also be from the other one that I mentioned earlier, which was, I can't remember the one of the 4 books it was from. Anyway, I have forgotten, but anyway, so in Sanskrit, the chant is a bit hard, but I really thought it'd be cool to do it in English too. So we had something in Sanskrit, and now we have something in English. So these are the words. And this is like a direct kind of prayer to God, to the Lord Parjanya, Lord Indra. It says, "Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward." So let me go ahead and put that in the chat too for anybody who's live, and those who are back in replay, they'll probably see this down in the description of the video. So it says, "Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward." Okay, so that is now in the chat for anybody who would like to follow along with that. Okay, and you can do that as you kind of sprinkle some of this water. We're going to say that little incantation. So draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. A couple more times. Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. Draw up the great bucket and pour it down. Let the streams released flow forward. So you can go ahead and sit. You can continue to do this. If you like the chant, you can continue to sprinkle the water wherever you want and continue to say that little incantation. What you can also do is any remaining water, you can place this on an altar and you can let it evaporate, because that means that the energy of water is entering, the water back into the atmosphere, which is where we need it to impregnate the clouds and move us forward towards some more humidity here. So even if I know many of you here are not in Southern California, and that's okay. You're still, these workings that we do, they take place outside of time and space. You don't have to be here in order for your energy to lend its hand and to help us out. So I really appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate all of the kind words. So many of you have reached out to me and have commented on some of my posts as I've updated people about how we're doing. And I've just received so much kindness from you guys. And so I want to thank you so much. It means so much to me, especially in those first few days where it was uncertain what was going to happen here where we live. It really meant a lot to be able to read those comments at night, even when we had no power for days, and I'd be alone at night in the dark there after my boyfriend went to bed. And I read those comments, and it really lifted my spirit. So I thank you so much, and I thank you so much for lending your energy to the working tonight. So it's going to take me a bit of time to get this up and processed, but I will have the replay will be here in the group, but I will be adding it to our Body Mind Witchcraft Facebook page. It can be shared publicly from there, and we're also going to add it to our YouTube channel, Body Mind Witchcraft. It can also be shared publicly from there. So feel free to share it far and wide. The more people that do the spell, the more energy gets added to it, and let's just pray for some rain here in Southern California. Okay, until next time, blessed be.